And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review, and this is BailyIsGod from Rancor Feed. What's happening, Rancor Feed? Now, he wanted me to give their team a quick shout out, so shout out to Rancor Feed. He's also looking to recruit a few good men, just like the Marines. That's right. They're looking to get to the heroic AAT, and they're so close. They just need a couple other good 1 million plus galactic power characters who can just boost them up just a little bit, that they'll be able to do the heroic, so everybody can start to get their General Kenobi shards. They're so close, just need a few people. So if anybody watching this is interested in the possibility of joining his guild and putting them over the top to be able to get that, he has obviously on the top left his ally code, and you can go ahead and ally him in the game, and then once you're allies with him, you can leave your guild and you can request a guild request and he'll pull you in. He can take a look at your size and all of that. So obviously you can also leave comments down below. He's going to be reading all the comments, and so you have questions about his guild, things like that, leave them in the comments down below. But shout out again to Rancor Feed. I'm super excited. They're so friggin' close. They just need, like I said, a few good men to hop in, or a few good ladies to hop in and put them over the top. So really, Bailey has been playing since the very beginning, and he's completely not only free to play. So this is going to show you what you could get after a couple of years of being focused as a free-to-play player. Now, looking at the arena, after a couple of years of free-to-play and focus, you're in the top 100. You climb into the top 100 every day. That's awesome for completely free-to-play. Phenomenal. But look at your ships. Holy crap. What's going on? Bailey, we got to get you some help. This is a total train wreck or car wreck or whatever you want to call it. 700. There's no reason why you can't be higher than that for sure. I'm thinking that ships weren't such a big deal to you, and I wish that they would have been, but that's okay. We can definitely come back from this, and we could definitely get you into the top 250 easily, pretty quickly, by just making some tweaks with that team, and then you doing more than one battle a day. I have a feeling that could be part of it, is that you're like a lot of people. They don't really care about ships, and they only do a little bit, but we're going to try and get you to care a little bit about ships. So you've got the arena tweaks, you've got specifically phase 3 of the heroic AAT you wanted to talk about, and then of course you wanted to talk about, you know, should you be doing mod farming and win and all that, and then CHS, should you be farming CHS. So we're going to go right into phase 3 of the heroic AAT first. So when we're talking about the phase 3 of the heroic AAT, there's a couple of different builds you can do. You could have Emperor Palpatine as a lead. Obviously, Emperor Palpatine is gear 11 for you, and you've got him pretty much maxed out. This looks great. Emperor Palpatine is going to work really well, of course, with TIE Fighter Pilot. You could use Jyn Erso, Stormtrooper Han, and Royal Guard. Now, the way that you use this team with Emperor Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot, Jyn Erso, and Stormtrooper Han and Royal Guard. Stormtrooper Han and Royal Guard are your tanks, so they're going to, you know, tank it up and take the damage. TIE Fighter Pilot's just there to do debuffs and damage. And then Emperor Palpatine's going to be doing shocks. And so Emperor Palpatine's doing the shocks, and he's going to be your primary damage dealer on this with his lightning strike. But you got to get him to put up shock as much as possible, as quick as possible. And that is where Jyn Erso comes into play. Now, Jyn Erso is gear 7, not really that high and isn't going to last super long, but really she's there for the very beginning to kind of get the shock train going. She's able to give her team or her turn away to another player with her first special, which is the Rebel counterattack. It kind of does an AoE, and then it gives somebody else her turn meter. And so what's really cool about this is you can use Emperor Palpatine, make him fast, and make sure he has potencies, you know, at least over 65%. You shoot for the 80% and hit one of the add robots, one of the additional little side robots in phase 3. That's going to put shock down. And then Jyn Erso, she's really fast naturally. She does not take much more than a speed arrow to get her over 200 speed. So, I mean, that is super fast and quick to get her to 200 speed. And then she's going to go next, and she's going to give her turn meter to Emperor Palpatine, who's immediately going to shock another add robot. There you got 2. You're getting turn meter though with this shock, so that's really good. Obviously, with Chirpa, Chief Chirpa, you would get more turn meter and it would go faster, but your Chirpa doesn't look good. So unfortunately, without Chirpa, you're going to have to just do it the old-fashioned way and try and survive long enough to get the shocks on all the robots. With that, that's where Stormtrooper Han and Royal Guard come into play. Stormtrooper Han can taunt first. burst, and then every time they hit him, he's going to give everybody extra turn meter, speeding up Emperor Palpatine and his ability to shock all the other ad robots. An alternate variation of the Phase 3 team I just mentioned with Emperor Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot Jyn Erso, Stormtrooper Han, and Royal Guard would be using Tebow as a lead for the stealth so they won't counter. Tebow is a good leader, and you have Tebow, so that's not a bad idea. Of course, Emperor Palpatine, Jyn Erso, Stormtrooper Han, and Royal Guard could be in there. So really you're just switching out TIE Fighter Pilot for your TIE Fighter Pilot for Tebow. And like I said, your Tebow's at 7 stars, gear 9. He's going to work, but I think that the team with Emperor Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot is going to do a little bit more damage just because TIE Fighter Pilot gets a ton of turn meter because of Emperor Palpatine's lead. And so he's going to be a real big damage dealer until Emperor Palpatine finally gets his shocks landed, and then he'll take over on the damage. But your Chief Chirpa, which I suggested is a possible lead, he's at 5 stars, and he's actually a relatively easy farm. So that would be a suggestion, possibly, to go ahead and get Chief Chirpa finished off so you could use this in Phase 3. Now, we're going to now take a step back and go back into Arena. For Arena, you've got a really good team. You've got Rex leading, you've got, Chirrut and Baze, and you've got Darth Nihilus. Like, this is the meta team, but you're only in the top 100, and it's kind of like, why? Why is this team not competing with, the guys in the top 20 and the top 50? And one of that is you started at the very beginning. You're with the people who've had the absolute longest amount of time to develop. So top 100 for free-to-play should be, congratulations, pat on the back, and you should be happy with that. That's really, really good. But Kylo Ren is a bit of a turd right now in Arena, both offensively and defensively. He's just undershined. I mean, you can stun him easily and take him out as needed. And really, the character that's going to do better than him is going to be R2-D2. Now, the good news is you have R2-D2 almost maxed out. You don't even need his abilities. Zeta, just finish off his smoke screen. You've got him at gear 10, and so I would just make him as fast as humanly possible. The reason for that, and you should be able to pretty easily get him over 200 speed, but the reason for that is he's going to throw up a smoke screen, throw it foresight onto Baze, and then of course everybody's going to be trying to hit Baze, and your team's going to be able to have the opportunity to just go ham on the opponent. And every time they're trying to kill Baze, they're just going to feed all that crazy turn meter to your team from your Rex lead, and that's going to give so much more turn meter, which will help Darth Nihilus go faster and Chase go faster. And so really your R2, just make him, he doesn't even have to have a ton of potency, but I would do, if you can get your hands on a potency set and get your hands on a speed set, do that. If not, you could just do potency all the way around, but try and do as much speed secondaries and a speed arrow. Try and get as much speed on him as possible, but definitely I would put R2-D2 in the place of Kylo Ren. He's going to be definitely much more usable. He gives himself turn meter when he does smoke screen, so he speeds himself up. He can do the burn, which helps prevent them. He's got his basic ability, which shocks. It just stuns people. It's awesome. So put in R2-D2. I think that would be a nice little tweak for your Arena team, and I think it's going to take you to the next level and help get you into that 80 and 70 range and start to climb into that top 50 that you're really looking to do. Now, you asked about, doing possibly your working on Resistance, and knowing that Resistance is such a good team. You already know, like, this is the team you need. And so, Bailey, you're starting to work on this team, and that's excellent that you're, really starting to focus on this. And you're like, but I want to get Finn, maxed out, and he's in Cantina, but there's mods, and I should be mod farming. I mean, which would I do? I mean, I got to have Finn at 7 stars if I'm going to use him in the heroic raids. And, I really want to be able to finish this team off. And, okay, so this is what you're going to do. The only character on this team in Resistance that really is going to compete with mod farming is Finn. So finish Finn off in Cantina, get him up. The moment you get him leveled up, finish him off, and then while you're slow farming Resistance Trooper, farm for mods. And that could be a couple of weeks to a couple of months, but I would do at least 2 weeks before you focus on another character in Cantina. Really continue to focus on, finish Finn off, and then go into mods and do a minimum of 2 weeks every day mod farming. And you're going to be able to do with the characters that you have speed mods, and I would probably just focus on doing speed mods because the speed mods are going to drop. They're going to give you speed secondaries, and you're going to have speed secondaries on speed sets, and that's going to really help your arena team to be able to switch out some of your lesser sets with some speed sets with speed secondaries for characters like R2-D2 and even Rex. Making a fast Rex makes for a really fast team, and he's going to be able to put his tenacity up and whatnot. So anyway, long story short, I would go after speed mods, and I would do that, but I would do it after you go after Finn. So finish Finn off and then do mod farming, do your speed mods, and do at least 2 weeks in a row, if not longer. And then the last thing you asked me about is actually a character that's not in here at all, and that was your Captain Han Solo. And Captain Han Solo is one of those characters you can farm and get, and you're going to need him for territory battles. And so you guys are in your own guild doing your own thing. If none of you are going for Captain Han Solo, then none of you are going to get the new Leia. If none of you are getting the new Leia, then none of you are going to be able to do the last battle. And if that's the case, and that's what you guys are all down for, then so be it. There's a couple characters you can't get, and there's a little bit in territory battles you'll never access. And if that's where your guild is at right now, then realistically that's fine. However, if you're looking at the long haul, your team should all be farming CHS. Now, with that said, I did say do Finn first, and I know CHS is in Cantina, so you want to make sure that you give yourself that mod farming time and not worry about CHS for now. And then once you get some mods under your belt and you feel like your arena team is a little better, then move over to you can farm for CHS. But it really needs to be kind of all or nothing. If your team, you're not leaving your team and you're going to continue to maintain this team, and everybody else in this team says, let's go for it, then everybody as a team should farm those characters so you can work as a team in unity to get all of those characters. If you're not going to do it, then, and you're not leaving your guild, then just, if nobody's going to do it, then don't worry about it. So that's something you're going to have to discuss with your team to see if everybody else wants to develop Captain Han Solo so they can get Leia, and get him and Leia so they can focus on that last node in Phase 6. So we'll see. Now the last thing is I was like, car crash with the ships, and you're at 715 and you didn't ask for any help with ships, and I'm sure it's because you don't want to focus on them. But I am going to give you some suggestions on who you should have in this, is from who you have, and I think you're going to be able to just do a few tweaks and be able to climb a little bit. I would also ask you to commit to any day, definitely any day where there's not a territory battle, to doing all 5 ship battles at a minimum. Climb on those days. You have a little bit more time on those days because you're not doing territory battles. So climb, climb, climb. And if you can do it every day, use all 5 of your battles every day. And a lot of people are not doing that, and so because of that, you will eventually offset and climb higher than those individuals only doing 1 battle a day. When you look at your ships, obviously you're using a great team, and it's decent, but this is how I would restructure. First, your most powerful capital ship is the Executrix, and so I would use the Executrix as your main ship. Obviously, you've got Umbaran up there, who's really high, and Biggs, who's a tank in your top 2 rows. So you got 2 tanks, a TIE Advanced, which is Darth Vader's ship, and that's a guaranteed target lock. So I would use those 3. And then for the next 2, I would use the Imperial TIE Fighter, who's down here on the bottom left. The Imperial TIE Fighter is excellent, just really hard to hit and puts target lock up. Also feeds turn meter to the Executrix. And then also you have a Scimitar relatively high with Darth Maul at 4 stars. I'd put Scimitar in your initial lineup and immediately stealth everybody and put it on Biggs. It's going to keep Biggs from being killed, so he'll actually last for a very, very, very long time. And by the time the stealth expires and they're finally able to kill Biggs, and that happens, everybody's going to be so target locked from Darth Vader that you can then have your Slave 1 come in, and Slave 1 can come in and do his AoE and clear the board of most of the other characters. The last couple I would suggest would be Wedge and Rex, because Rex and Wedge are in your top 2 most powerful ships. You know, they're in the top 2 rows. Rex can apply target lock down, and Wedge can do some pretty good damage, and Rex is also very tanky and durable. So I'd probably put Wedge in the middle backup slot, and in your very last slot put Rex. But doing this is going to give you the ability to have a team, your top 5 team, that's just not going to really die, and by the time they start dying, you're going to have the AoE that comes over with all of the TIE Strike from the Executrix that finishes off your opponent, and like I said, you should be able to finish it out. You're completely free to play, and you've been playing for 2 years, and so for most people watching, this is what you can kind of expect from your lineup, what you can see with ships and with his lineup here. You can kind of see what he's got, what he's been able to farm slowly, what he's bought slowly with crystals through the store that he's earned. You can see he still has only a 5-star base Malbus and a 5-star Grand Admiral Thrawn. Han Solo's almost 7 stars, so that's really exciting because Han Solo is a Zeta that you definitely want to do. He will help take you to the next level in Arena for sure. But this is kind of what you can expect after a couple of years of gameplay. Yes, you're not going to have everybody leveled up. Yes, you're not going to be able to focus on everyone. Yes, you're going to have a level 1 Wicket that you're not going to be able to play with and not going to be able to utilize. That's just what happens when you're free to play. You don't get to play with all of the toys that are in the box. You've got to play with the ones that you've developed. So that's just what happens, but you're doing really well. You're at 1.2 million galactic power for being completely free to play. Not bad. If anyone has comments or any suggestions for BailyIsGod, they can leave them in the comments down below. And again, with his team, we're just shouting them out, saying that they are definitely looking for anybody who is on the cusp of 1 million galactic power, would like to come into their team and be a team player, be active, be involved, and take their team to the heroic AAT phase, so that way they're going to be able to start doing that and getting their General Kenobis. They're pretty excited. If that's something that interests you, leave some comments down below and they will definitely contact you. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.